Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome back to the Just Sing podcast. Today's conversation is going to be about intentions, goals, and the mind. Um, I talk about the mind a lot, not like from a perspective of psychology or no shit like that. Let me go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not, PhD oriented in that. I am simply a person who has delved deep into the understanding of it. So, the three modalities of the mind. You have the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind, but they all still connect to your intentions and your goals. And there's a huge difference between intention and goals because goals are more so rooted in the conscious mind and intentions are rooted in the unconscious mind, which is very important because when the unconscious mind is exposed and, tapped into, that's where most of your reality is going to come from. Goals are good to set. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, don't have goals or anything like that. I'm saying when you set your goals, be sure to set your goals in accordance with intention. And when you set your intentions, be sure to know what intentions are already set, what intentions need to be rewritten, and things of that nature, and how to go in and pretty much do that. As I was saying, when you look at your goals coming from the conscious mind, goals and intentions are going to be rooted in thought, but the actions that manifest themselves are going to be slightly different. They're going to be slightly different. Like the actions that come from a conscious thought are those that, they're not concrete, depending on which information we get, which new things we study and we learn, our goals will remain in that realm. But if we learn something new, if we transition into a different thought space and a different school of thought, our goals are going to be acting according to that, and then they're going to significantly change when we transition into something different. But whatever your intentions are for your unconscious mind, that's definite and is going to guide you, and you're gonna, ultimately live a life that way. So if you understand the intentions, you understand things like not only intentions but purpose, you can see how the two go hand in hand. So ultimately, that's what we'll be discussing today. We'll go a little bit more in depth. As I said, we're going to be talking about actions, talk about the mind, setting intentions, how intentions have been set for you already for you to act a certain way and to move in a certain manner, which is a very, very, I'm going to say it's problematic because it causes us to act according to things that we wouldn't normally act according to, but we wouldn't know that we're not normally acting according to them because it's unconscious. You just kind of do the shit. But yeah, so I discuss how all of that goes into each other and how they tie into it with behavior and everything. But before we get heavy into it, of course, as always, if you're not following me already, follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. You can follow my merchandise page at Just Scenes Merch, and you can follow my vegan class at the Hitting It Raw program. Of course, all of my books, you can get them wherever books are sold online. So Frail, The Reality of Black Male Masculinity, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity, and of course, Hitting It Raw, Living the Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. Also, if you have not heard the last release, So Frail Conversations 1, why is it called So Frail? Check that out because, every week we have more topics of discussion coming out. So yeah, with that, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back to continue where we left off with intentions, goals, and the mind. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags, visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right, welcome back. Hope everybody's back in good vibes. Everything is on the up and up. And let us begin. So, the purpose that I was talking about when it comes to intentions and goals is that there's a distinct separation between the two. As I said before, goals are more connected to your conscious mind. Intentions are more connected to your unconscious mind. And these are things that you're just really going to act out. You know, both of them lead to your actions, but your conscious thought is where your actions are more so what you choose to do. And your intentions are more so what you're going to do. You know, whether or not you choose to do it or not, it's what you're going to do, because your intentions are deeply rooted and connected more to your soul and your willpower. Your goals are more so set to your, as I say, your conscious mind. So it's subject to change depending on what you learn, depending on how you grow, depending on what different thoughts you interact with on a daily basis. You know, so when we look at how we set these up, you know, it's easier to set a goal than it is to set an intention, because intentions are rooted in what we would consider like our purposes, our paths of life, and things of that nature. So they're more so things that are connected to our personality and our behavior. Our goals are more so the points that, you know, we choose to. They're more so the points that we choose to portray to the world, in a sense. So it's like when you are in, let's say you're in a relationship, right? These are very, very pivotal pieces to help establish successful relationships. Not only establish successful relationships, but to understand your relationship with the person a lot better. Because a lot of times we get wrapped up in the goal of a relationship and not the intention. Like, hell, we see it all the time. If you look on social media, they be like relationship goals. Have we ever really hashtag or even thought to consider relationship intentions? You know, that's important, because the intentions of a relationship is really what's going to make it viable. Is going to make it thrive. Now, of course, you know, I always speak in principle, so this thing can be applied on all levels of life. However, it's more easily understood when you consider the relationship component, because if you look at people's goals in a relationship, it's ultimately similar shit. Like, you know, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have a big house, you know, be financially stable, well off, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Those are goals, you know, and those are things that you have to continually work on. You know, I have to continually do this, that, third, and the fourth, and X, Y, Z to make this a reality for myself. You know, so it's like those are relationship goals. But relationship intentions are the things that you're going to do anyway, with or without the impetus to make it happen. So we get confused, and it's hard to see intentions in a relationship in the beginning, because everybody wants their goals to manifest. So everybody's, of course, going to be on best behavior. You know, the behavior from your intentions can't be hidden. That's who you really are. That's why it's like, you know, that's why you got to wait until like the infatuation and shit weighs off and get to that comfortable phase. But you got to get to that comfortable phase to see who the person really is, because that's when intention starts to show. And that's when people start to do the things that are more comfortable to them, you know, and that's when it becomes hard, because so many of us, we get into a relationship based off of goals, and goals are subject to change. If we're actively growing as people and we're making the necessary steps to progress and move forward in life, then our goals really are supposed to change. Our relationship goals are supposed to change, but the intention isn't. The intention for why we get into the relationship isn't supposed to change, and it won't change, and if the intentions don't align, the relationship's going to be damaging. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. You can have the same goals as a person all day long, or appear to have the same goals as a person all day long, but the moment that your intentions are different, the goals really don't matter. They become obsolete. So the point to that is that the goals and intentions, they come from different points of the mind. You feel what I'm saying? They come from different points and modalities of the mind. So looking at intentions, they come from the unconscious mind. As I said, this is what you're going to do. And no matter what situation you're in, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's just your normal life, your intention is what you're going to do. There's no way around it. That's why it becomes poisonous when people say, I don't know what came over me. I just did it. I don't know why this happened. It just happened. That's because your intention was there. You didn't even have to think about it. And not only did you not have to think about it, you couldn't fight your conscience. You couldn't fight morally or immorally doing something. This is just not speaking from a negative perspective, but in all realities, when you just do something, you don't even know why you did it. It's because it's rooted in your intention. It didn't even appeal to you or appear to you that it was going to be problematic. Now, for your goals, okay, this might violate my goal. This goes against something that I stand on. This goes against something that I stand for. Yeah, that's going to become a problematic point because now you're consciously thinking about it and you could be aware of that. But your intention, you're not. It's what you're going to do. Your goals are what you want to do. So it's like, this is often understood when we consider how people cheat. Cheating is wrong. Like, people morally know cheating is wrong. Now, you have those people that really don't give a fuck and they're going to cheat anyway, but you have those people who cheat based off of intention. And you have people that cheat based off of goal. Am I saying their goal is to get in a relationship and cheat on somebody? No, but their goal for their life may be to be involved with multiple people. Their goal in life may to be satisfied with multiple people. So they make that conscious choice. But then some people don't have that, but they have the intention to be, let's say, be in a relationship that makes them happy, right? Let's use that as an example. I have the intention to be in a relationship that makes me happy. So the moment happiness is no longer in my relationship, I begin to look for that happiness somewhere else. Why? Because my intention is there. So it's like my guards can easily be let down because the intention now says, this does not give me what I intended to have. So I'm cleared to go find it somewhere else. So it's like, this is how workplace romances are so easy to happen, because it's like my intention is typically, like, if you look at a relationship, the intention is to find somebody that understands you, find somebody that gets you. Who better to get you outside of your significant other than somebody you work with? Y'all in the same field, y'all see each other every day, you do the same shit all the time. That person can understand you. That person aligns with your intention for a relationship. Even if your significant other still does, that person still aligns with your intention for your relationship. So you always have to pay attention to that. You always have to consider that, because at any given moment, that could be what surfaces. But like, if you have a goal and say, okay, I want to be in a relationship where, our kids can live here and do that and the third, like, how do you really define that? Because you can achieve that goal with anybody. You can achieve that goal by yourself. So you have to pay attention to those dynamics. And like I was saying, the principles here can be applied to anything, but it's just easier to see and easier to discuss when you're talking about relationships. The actions of a person are going to be determined by either their goals or their intentions. So this is why it's very, very hard for people to say, when people say, I don't listen to words, I pay attention to actions. Which actions are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to goal oriented actions, or are you paying attention to intention oriented actions? Because goal oriented actions are gonna be me on my best behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be me operating while I'm on my best behavior. I'm not gonna fuck up. If my goal is to be with you, I'm not gonna fuck up right then. You know, and this is for men and women. This is not just saying, okay, because a lot of times, like, these how like women have the same modes of mentality as we do, for the most part. So when I say that, are this person's actions goal oriented, you have to realize, do they come from the conscious mind? Because from the conscious mind, it's like, okay, I'm gonna continually be aware of the things that may or may not occur. Like, I'm gonna continue to be aware of those. So my actions are gonna be according to my conscious thought. But actions according to unconscious thought supersede that shit. Because that's what you would rather do. That's what you are going to do. That's what you would do. Because the intentions, with comfortability, like, the more comfortable you get with the person, then the more the intention, the more the action from intention shows. You know, when I'm not, when we courting, or when I'm trying to get at you and shit like that, yeah, everybody's gonna be on their best behavior. Nobody's gonna show you their dark side. Nobody's gonna show you their bad side. And that's because it's like, maybe you might leave, maybe I might run you away, or I need you to see that I'm a good person, or whatever the case may be. So it's like, we don't show our intentional side. We don't show our intentional side. We show our goal oriented side. I want you to see that I'm a good person. I want you to trust in me. I want you to believe in me. I want you to know that I'm going to do, certain things with my life, because, these are my goals. Relationship goals. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, because at any given moment, those goals can change. With a certain level of information, certain level of understanding. And that is where the biggest hiccup and the biggest problem comes in. Because if I set my relationship up and I'm saying my goals are to have kids, have a big house, family, businesses, and all of that shit, but my intention is to be a hoe. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. Like, it may be delayed, it may be offset, but it's gonna happen. Like, I use personal experience. Like, when I decided, before I decided to, take relationships seriously and have, be a one woman man and everything, when I was doing my thing, like, my intention was not a relationship. My intention wasn't a relationship, and my actions showed that my intentions weren't having a relationship. Even though I wasn't involved with multiple women at one time, like, committedly, like, I got a relationship here, I got a relationship here. It's like, no, I'm doing what I do as a single man wherever I go. But those are my intentions. But see, I was able to know that about myself and say, nah, I'm not trying to be in a relationship. My intentions ain't there. My intentions aren't there. So this is why it's like, I see a lot of women, and it's not funny. I just chuckle, but it's not funny. But, like, I see a lot of women get caught up in, you did all of this stuff as if we went together, but then you still did that fuck shit because his intention wasn't there. Like women do this shit too. Like, you don't have the intention to be in a relationship because your unconscious mind has already rewired what you envision for a relationship and what your intentions are for a relationship. So you got to be careful with that. Does this person see you? Does this person operate from the intentional aspect of survival when it comes to relationships? So their intention is to only do what it takes to survive in that relationship. You feel me? Fuck what their goals are saying for the relationship. What are their intentions saying? Because that's what's going to manifest it. You know what I mean? I've been involved with women who, would discuss, oh, I want to run businesses. I want to do all of this. I want to run businesses. I want to, work for myself. I want to be self-employed. I want to do all of these things. But that was their goal. The intention wasn't there. The intention was there, because then when you look at the actions from the intentions, okay, what are you doing to align with this? You know, what are you doing to align with this? And in that alignment, that's where everything falls out. That's where everything falls out. This is why, like, when you look at, this is how you can tell if a person's operating from the goals or not. Like, when they tell you, okay, I want to do this, and you start getting on them about the shit. First off, if it's that person's intention to achieve this goal or to do certain things, you're not gonna have to be on them. They're gonna do it. You might have to tell them to scale back because they're doing too much, because their intention is set there. That's where their passion is. That's where they're gonna be fueled to. But when it's just their goal, what I mean, they might not even do it. But then when you bring it to their attention to keep that illusion for you, even for themselves, they'll do just a little bit and then slip back into their old ways. You feel me? Because their conscious thought is there, not their intentional thought. So therefore, the actions are going to be different. The actions are going to be totally different. So that's why I tell people, like, when you're in that relationship phase, or you're in that talking phase, and you're trying to get to know somebody, find out what their intentions are. Find out what their intentions are. That'll save you a world of hurt and a world of wasted time. Because your intentions can't lie. They don't lie, because that's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do. And so this is how we look at certain programming to know how a person is going to move. Women have intuition. Men have intuition too, but we talk about it more on a scale of woman's intuition and shit. So if you look at a woman's intuition, she says, "I always knew." How did you know? How did you know? The reason why you knew is because you were able to observe the intentions of this person. You were able to peep the intentions of this person. How do you peep the intentions of the person? The actions that come out automatically. When a person gets a certain hype over a certain song, that song has some kind of relevance to their intentions. You feel me? When I think I was like 22, 23 or some shit like that. It was my early 20s. But the song Problem with A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and and 2 Chainz. The hook was, "I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem." That was my shit. That was my shit. And it manifested itself. Like, that had become my intention. Like that's the thing about music. Music is so potent because that's what helps rewrite our intentions too. That's what helps sculpt our intentions, because we hear the same shit every time repetitively over music, and it eventually beds into your subconscious mind, and then you start to act that behavior out. You feel me? So you're dealing with somebody whose favorite songs are "fuck bitches, get money." "I don't fuck with these hoes. I love bad bitches, that's my problem." And you think you can magically come out of that. You think you're going to be the one to bring the person out of it. No, their intention is there. Their intention. Music is a very quintessential piece to understanding what a person's intentions are with their life. You feel me? If you can understand the music a person listens to, the music a person vibes to the heaviest, you can pretty much get a gauge, more or less, on what this person is. Now, granted, there's people, "Oh, I'm eclectic, I listen to all types of music," but what music do you respond to? What music do you respond to? This whole hot girl summer, y'all should have known about that shit. Y'all should have known about that shit. Like, there's a way in which music makes you move. You feel me? You got young people that can just, soon as they hear the intro to an old school song, they start vibing because their intention is whatever this old sound is giving them. You feel me? It's whatever that old sound is giving them. That harmony, that balance, that's what it brings out of them. So when you say, "Oh, I knew this person was going to do me like this," because you knew the intention. You just were oblivious to it. You paid attention to what they respond to the most. Their actions based off of, like, sometimes when people do shit, they're like, "I was just playing." Like, that's one of, I ain't gonna say it's a pet peeve, but that is something that helped me see the intentional mind, and then how the conscious mind has to kick in. You feel me? So you can see a goal-oriented relationship of people like, "I want to do this for this person," but their intention kicks in, right? They'll say some fucked up shit to you, but "I was just joking." Now, your intention was to say that fucked up shit. However, it wasn't for me to respond that way and to say, "Hey, yo, you wildin'." Oh no, I was just playing. Don't take it. No, you weren't. Like, you weren't playing because it flowed too naturally. You intentionally did that. Now, did you have a malicious intent behind it? No. Were you intentionally trying to damage me or anything like that? No. But your intent was there because it's written to your unconscious mind. This is how you responded. Feel me? Perfect example of this shit is on Baby Boy when Yvette was trying to she was talking to Jody. She was like, "Why?" She said, "You foul, Jody. Why you do?" He was like, "What'd he say?" He said, "Yeah, I fuck them from time to time. I don't know why. I just do." Because those are Jody's intentions. Jody's intentions was to be a man that had multiple women. Like, his intention was there, and it was set. So he does that shit. You feel what I'm saying? He's going to continue to do that shit. Women too. If a woman like, I've had a woman tell me, I knew her intention at this point. She said, "Until I'm married, I'm single." Damn. All right. I gotta honor that. Because you're telling me what your intentions are. You know, that means to say that until I'm married, I'm single. That means everything single motherfuckers do, you're gonna do if there's no ring on your finger. Whether you're in a relationship or not. There was no medium. There was no common ground. So there's no talking phase. There's no courting. There's none of that. Until you're married, you're single. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got to step away from that shit. Because you're going to start doing single shit to a motherfucker that's not appearing to be single in a situation. My intentions are, I'm going to fuck with you until there's a ring on the finger. Like, so I'm going to do the shit because that's my end goal. But your intention says, until I'm married, I'm single. You know, people don't even be paying attention to what they utter from their mouth. Like, they say certain shit because it's cool, because it's social media hype. You know, yeah, like so many women will co-sign that. That's right, sis. Until you married, you single. All right, honor that. Then you can't, I can't expect anything different from you. You feel me? If you tell me until I'm married, I'm single, and then you step out or I catch you with other, I can't get mad at that. Your intentions just told me what the fuck would happen. I chose not to listen. This happens on a regular basis. On a regular basis. People be like, well, I don't like this, or I don't want to do that. Like, listen to them. Their intentions are there. And then pay attention to their actions. Pay attention to the actions, because the intentional actions can't hide. Only the conscious actions can. Only the conscious actions can appeal to give you what you want. If my intention is just to have sex with a woman, once I get it's like, yo, it was so shocking. Like, growing up, like when I used to do it, women be like, "That's all you wanted." I used to try to downplay it and be like, "That's all you gave me," and shit like that. Blah blah blah. But like, nah, that was all I wanted, and I kind of acted this behavior out. I was always around multiple women. You feel me? The music that I listened to said, "Fuck bitches, get money." Like, so I had that intention already set. My intentional, my unconscious actions acted this behavior out on a regular basis. The way in which I spoke to women when I got their numbers was sexual. It was like, it was there. Like, it was seductive. It was like, I'm telling you, I got smooth words because I'm trying to get in your drawers. Like, that's really what it was. And that's where my intention was. So then after I got it and I lost interest, my intention was just to hit. And I did. And then from that intention is the seed planted. Is the seed planted. After I hit, is it good? I can double back. If it's not, I'm out. A lot of us got intention set like that. And from the women's perspective, it's like, if your intention is, if her intention is to play you out, you're gonna get played worse. Because we don't be thinking women got the heart for this shit. Women can be cold as fuck, bro. Women can be a lot colder than we are. And a lot of times we be thinking that women ain't got the heart for it. But they really do. They really do. And their heart is different. Their heart is different from it, because where we would say we don't do it out of emotion, we do it out of emotion too. We get caught up and wrapped up in emotions too. But the thing about it is, our intention changes by the time we get hurt. You know, it's just the universal law. Like whenever it's time for you to feel what you gave to somebody, it only comes when your intention has changed. You know, because if my intention was, you know, like the first heartbreak that I ever took, that was when I decided I wasn't gonna, you know, be out playing anymore. I decided I'm gonna be a one woman man, and then her intention, she told me what her intention was from the jump, and I was so wrapped up in the motherfucking spell or whatever it was that I just didn't believe it. You know, she told me, like, when we first met, she said, like, we was in a club party, we was in a club, or we was at a party, club party, I don't know, something, but a song came on, and it was Kanye West I put on, and she was like, and on Kanye verse, he said, I feel like it's still women that owe me sex. Like, when that line came up, she looked at me and she said, I feel like it's still dudes that owe me sex. And I was like, I laughed because I'm young. I was like 18 at the time and shit. So I was like, oh shit, she trying to fuck. Really, that's all she wanted to do. But it's like, I made a relationship out of it. And then how did it end? Same way. That's why they tell you the same way you get them is how you're going to lose them. Because their intention is there. You feel me? Because that's where that intention lies. And in that intention, you have to see the actions that coincide with it. You know? Fuck what a person is telling you consciously. Oh, I'll never hurt you. I'll never do it again. If my intent is to do me, you're going to get done over. Because at the end of the day, it's either you or me. You know? And my intentions, naturally, the first rule of nature is self-preservation. So my intentions are going to be to honor me first. You know? So it's like, it's little small intricacies that come like that. That's why I'm telling people when they say, I pay attention to the person's actions, and you'll still be confused. Because unless they're showing you their intentional actions, then their conscious actions mean nothing. Because I gotta be on my best behavior. I want you. You're not going to see the bad side of me. You're not going to see the side that doesn't appeal. Because once my intentions start showing up, then that's when we can start to see we don't really align. We ain't really twin flames. Oh, shit. That is a funny concept because people base that off of conscious information. They base that off of goals. I want to have a twin flame. My goal is to have a twin flame. But what, like, is your twin flame based off of intentional connection, or is it based off of a goal-oriented connection? So then you will literally make yourself see this, you know, and then you only see the good of a person. You only see the good of a person. Like, I remember I was dealing with this woman, and, you know, I learned the hard way, but this is how I know this concept now. I was like, yo, what are your intentions for us? For what we gonna do? She was like, I don't know, I just want to see where it go. That is the biggest red flag you can ever hear. Anybody tells you, yo, I just want to see where it's going to go. It's going to go nowhere. It's going to go nowhere. The reason why it's going to go nowhere because they don't even have an intention for themselves as to what they want to do with another person. You feel what I'm saying? And that can be very dangerous. All right. Look. The markets are not a difficult place to understand, all right? You just have to know what you're looking at. And there's 5 things that you need to see before you can make any market entry. First, you need a pocket, so you can know which direction the market is going in. Second, you need a pullback, so you can get the better price. Third, you need a battlefield, so you can see when that market movement is slowing down. Fourth, you need the upper hand, so you can see when the market reactivates. And last, you need a final push, so you can see the exact moment when it's time to go with the direction you are already moving in. Okay? Of course, there's so much more that has to go into that, and it's not as cut and dry as that. But those are things that I teach in my Mastering the Market course. So if you would like to learn more, please visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today. Although it is directed and specialized for Forex, all of the skills, I crafted them to be transferable to any market that you're looking at. So again, visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today if you are truly looking to master the market. Oh yeah, and don't forget, while I still got you, you can use promo code QUARANTINE to save over 90% off of the enrollment of the full price of the course. That is QUARANTINE, QUARANTEEN. That can be very dangerous because there's no telling what their actions can bring to you. You know, that's why it's like when people are their intention is just through sex, you can't fuck with people like that. You know, you can if that's what you choose to do. You feel me? But that's your word. Like when, like I'm big on the free spirited woman. I'm big on that. But being free spirited is a polarity. You feel me? It has a positive side and it has a negative side to it. You feel what I'm saying? Being free spirited doesn't just mean you do dumb, reckless shit all the time. But some people have accepted that as this free spirited, you know, reality. Oh, I'm free spirited. You know, I have sex frivolously. I do this. I drink. Why does everything have to be negative? Because I'm a free spirited. No. Your intentions are destructive. You feel what I mean? Your intentions are destructive. And when your intentions are destructive, you will destroy. You feel me? Ain't no ifs, ands, or maybes about that shit. You will destroy. You know? So you got to ask yourself when it comes to the relationships that you want. Do you want goals or do you want their intentions? You know? Because on paper, that shit always looks good. You know, I got caught up in relationships because when we first start talking, it's, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, I have this business idea. I have that business idea. Okay? I think the same way. But I think on it from intention. They think on it from goals. And it blurs the lines because once they have that opportunity, it's like they crumble. They can't go through with what they say they want to do. I'm like, how? How can you not do what you said? Because I had to learn that their goals and the actions that they were trying to bring into reality were based off of goal, which was conscious mind. They knew whether they were being manipulative or not. They knew the best way to remain connected to this source was to operate from this source. You know, or appear to be in operation to this source. You know, your intentions, you're just gonna do them. You know, when you have that intention set, it's gonna be a reality. Therefore, my actions are gonna align. You know, I've seen situations where women would accuse me of, oh, you're gonna mess with this woman after we stop talking or whatever the case may be. I'm like, how you know? I'm like, I do not have an intention to deal with this person. You know, I do not have the intention to deal with this person. You feel me? But that is where we lose sight of the reality. We make our relationships. You know, we have our relationships off. You know, they completely get thrown off. And from planting the seed of intention and then enacting a relationship, that's the best way to go. Because now I know exactly what I want out of this relationship. And I know what my unconscious mind is going to act out for me. You know, I'm not going to have to think too heavily about, you know, the intentional relationship that I have. I always have to think about the conscious relationship. I always have to think about the conscious relationship and the goal-oriented relationship. Because now I box myself in. I box myself in because now it's like I established that these are the goals that we want to have. We want to have children. We want to do these things. But it's like, what are you actively doing to make this change? What are you actively doing to make this change? You know, my unconscious mind, like once the intention is set, I just do it. You know, that's how we operate in life. And to truly connect to that realm and connect to that, you have to set intentions. If you want successful relationships, you have to set intentions. If you want your goals and your dreams and aspirations to come out, you have to set intentions. I don't mean just wait for the new moon or the full moon to come and then you say, okay, I'm gonna operate according to this full moon, use this energy, and then I'm gonna set intention. That's not how you set an intention, because if you're not continually and repetitively making this stick to your mind, stick to your soul, it's not gonna come into reality. Yeah, the goal can be complete. You can easily complete the goal because the goal is gonna be, it's gonna manifest itself over time. But it's like, will you lose that drive if you don't get it in a certain result? If you don't have a certain outcome by the time, you know, you set, are you going to lose interest in it? That shows you that it's a goal and it's not an intention. when it's an intention, there's a burning desire to keep going with it. You feel me? There's a burning desire to keep going with it. Nothing can stop you. No matter how many times you change the route or how many times the details change, the principle remains the same, and that intention is going to keep fueling you. You know? So that's how that's how your intentions got to work. You know? That's how you got to set up your intentions. I ain't gonna say every single day, but you start when shit gets repetitive and it gets habitual, you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just do it. That's how you know it's an intention. That's how you know it's intention. But that goes back into when I was saying about how when people say it wasn't my intention to hurt you. You know, it can't be your intention every time you hurt somebody. It can't be not your intention every time you hurt somebody if you keep hurting them the same way. And if you keep getting hurt the same way and you're listening to a motherfucker say, that wasn't my intention to hurt you. Yes, it was their intention. Because the action from the intention is giving you the same fucking result. That's insanity if you believe otherwise. But see, you're paying attention to their goal. Oh, I know this person has a good heart. I know this person really wouldn't do me like that. That's no. They would. And that does not make them a bad person. That means their intention is set for that. You feel what I'm saying? That means that their intention is set for whatever it is they keep doing to you. You know what I mean? And vice versa. The shit that you continually do to a motherfucker that you just can't explain why you did, your intentions are set for that. Fuck your goals. Fuck whatever it is. Oh, I gotta change because of this. I gotta change. Nah. Because the right moment, the right thing can reignite your intention no matter what your goals are. You know, seduction doesn't just happen. Seduction happens because it taps into your intentions. The shit that you're going to do, it taps into that and you're powerless to it. You feel me? I had a girlfriend tell me one time it was something about she was watching some girls or something. And I was like, look, I was like, what, you don't trust me or something? She was like, it's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust them. Well, don't I have to give them the permission to you know what I mean, to do that? So it's like, fuck what you're talking about. Like, my actions have nothing to do with that. Like, my intentive actions are not to damage you. And I didn't damage her. You feel what I'm saying? But she could not conceive that, because when you're used to relationships where the goal is set that I'm not going to hurt you, but the intention is like, ugh, I look at women from time to time, you know, if the right opportunity presented itself out, you know, that, like, motherfuckers pay attention to that. You know, I fucked up a relationship one time because, like, not in a bad way, I ain't cheating, nothing like that, don't get me wrong. But I fucked up a relationship in the one time because, like, it's known I got, like, a big ass fucking crush on SZA. Like, she's a celebrity. Like, fuck, everybody got crazy crushes on certain celebrities. So I was joking with this woman that I was involved with, and I told her, I said, yo, if SZA ever crossed my path, I'd cheat on you for her. My intention wasn't there because I knew it was a joke. Like, who the fuck can I really do that shit? No. You feel me? But she took it to heart. But she took it to heart on the strength that I guess she assumed that it was my intention, but in correlating with the honesty that I gave her, she felt like it would really happen. You know? So it upset her or whatnot, but I was like, you know, why are you upset? Like, come on, like, you clearly have to see the joke in that. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know, I get it. That's how you know the difference between intentions and goals. If somebody's used to somebody, and this is why it's like, when we don't know these lines, when we don't know the blurred lines behind them, when people tell us certain shit, it's like, yo, I'm gonna hold you to it. Like, I believe everybody's intentions. I don't necessarily trust their goals, but I believe everybody's intentions. And the intentions are what you know, are the things that I see on accident. The shit that shows up on accident, that's an intention. That's an intention because it slipped through the cracks. When I get you to that point, when we get to that point where we're both comfortable with each other and we have that comfortability there, the intention's gonna start peeking their little heads out all the time, accidentally, and then they're gonna be, you know, purposefully, and then you're gonna just be like, yo, it's just gonna start getting bigger, and you're like, I don't like this aspect about you because you never seen this aspect about me. You have to see my intentions from the beginning. You know, you have to see my intentions from the beginning. So when it comes to that, look at your intentions and look at what they really bring you. Look at what the intention for the relationship is that you really want. You know, when you're meeting somebody, we gotta cut this shit out. We're too grown for this shit. Like I feel like this. Finding a relationship off of goals is for children. Adults find relationship off of intentions. You know, fuck how compatible you think you can be. If your intentions are not compatible, your relationship is gonna fuck up. Period. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. You can have the same goals, want the same things in life, but are you going to do the same thing in life? That's what you really need to pay attention to. And that's where the intention is important. Are you going to do the same things in life? Fuck if we want to do the same things in life. Are we going to do the same things in life? And here's what I mean by that. Um, Wanting to do the same things in life is like, okay, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have these I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to do, have this, in my life. But are you going to do it? That's the motherfucking question. Are you going to do it? And then now you have on that level, yeah, I'm going to do it. The goal set certain things, and the person seems like they're putting in the work, and it's like, okay, cool. But see, with the intention, see, the goal is like this. If it doesn't manifest, I change the goal. But with the intention, fuck that. I'm not changing shit. I'm going to make this work. You feel me? I'm going to make this work. And that's the difference right there. If you're not establishing a relationship on that, your relationship is going to fail. Your relationship is going to fail. It's going to be easier for them to see other people. And like, you have to pay attention to certain shit. Find out, like, before you get in a relationship, find out why they fuck the bullshit about, oh, this person hurt me, this person did me wrong. Find out what they did in that relationship too. Find out how they were attracted to that person. You feel me? Like, it's other subtle shit like that has to play into the reality. You feel what I'm saying? So, my nugget on this is, when you set your intentions, when you know your intentions and you want this relationship, you have to do it from an intentional perspective. Fuck a goal. Fuck hashtagging relationship goals, for real. Start hashtagging relationship intentions, but set intentions for real. Because find out what are the things that you just do. You don't need any motivation, any inspiration, because that's where your intention is. That's where your intention resides. And meet somebody on that same level. Like, relationships ain't gotta be difficult. They're only difficult when you set the goals for each other, and now you have to make these goals happen. You feel me? Every day I have to, oh, we said we was gonna do this, so we got, like, nah, fuck that. I set for intention, Joe. My relationships now are based off of intention. What are your intentions? But I base it off of 3 tiers, and this is one of the takeaways that I feel like would come out of this and should come out of this. When meeting somebody, when courting, dating, however you choosing to look at it, talking, set the intention first. Find out the intention that they have for themselves. Find out the intention that they have for themselves. You feel me? If a motherfucker ain't got an intention for themselves, fuck the relationship. Y'all ain't getting nowhere. And those are typically the people who say, I just want to see where it goes. Because they're liable to just see where life goes. Not create it, not put anything into the world, not use their divine gifts to bring anything into fruition. I just want to see where it goes. That's their intention. You'll see where it goes. No fucking where. You feel what I'm saying? Nowhere. So set that as your intention. Make that your intention when you're looking for a relationship. Ask the person when you on your first date, say, what are your intentions for your life? Not your goals, not what you want to accomplish. What are your intentions for life? Of course, they're going to give you their goals. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But once they say those things, this is how you can find out if their intentions are in line. Are they doing those things? Is what they're saying aligning with what they're talking about? That means their intentions aren't in it. You feel what I'm saying? That means their intentions aren't in it. But let's say the intentions for themselves are what they say, and you see the action being presented in it. Okay, cool. Now you can go to the next step. What are your intentions for a relationship? You feel me? What are your intentions in a relationship? Again, But motherfucker, I just want to see where it go. It's gonna go nowhere, bruh. Like, it's gonna go nowhere because there's no vision. There's no vision. You know what I mean? This person has to have intentions for a relationship. You know, again, they could rattle off goals. I want to have kids. I want to have, like, you'll know when intentions are far more descriptive than goals. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And you can feel it. So it's like, let's say a person says, okay, what are your intentions for a family? It's like, oh, I want to have like 2 to 3 kids, be married, have a house on the countryside, all of the bullshit like that. But then you ask them what are their intentions for their family. And they say, okay, I want 2 daughters, right? I want a wife who exhibits this type of mentality, this type of behavior, because I know that she's going to teach these to my daughters. You feel what I'm saying? I want a wife who does whatever the case may be, and vice versa. A woman, you know, her intention, I want a husband who does this. I want this type of child, that type of child. I want this particular system for my life. Okay, cool. Set that up. Then watch what they do. Watch how they act and watch how they respond. You know, watch how they interact on a regular basis. Pay attention to how they treat kids. Pay attention to how they talk to people of the opposite sex or the same sex. However, y'all, that's what's bagging your groceries. But pay attention to that. Pay attention to what they do, because your intentions are what you're going to do. You feel what I'm saying? It's not what you want to do. It's what you're going to do. You know, if you got a person that says, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, but they can't discipline themselves enough to wake up at a certain time and complete something on a consistent basis, pay attention. You can't be their motivation. I was going to say motivating factor, but motivation was simpler. You can't be their motivation, period. Know that. You know, women, my sisters, y'all fall into that shit a lot. Seeing a man's goals, I want to help him, but y'all better stop that shit. Y'all better stop that shit. Because from a man's perspective, if we see that a woman ain't operating at her potential, we leaving her the fuck alone. Y'all can do this shit too. Y'all need to do the shit too. If I'm talking to a woman and she's telling me all the things she wants to do, but she has no intentional action behind the shit, I gotta let her go. You know, at this age of my life, I'm getting a lot smoother and quicker with cutting this shit off. But at the end of the day, it's like your actions, your intention has to be there. Fuck what you want to do. What are you gonna do? You feel me? Because I know that's what it is. So you find the intentions that they have for themselves. Then you find the intentions that they have for the relationship, for a relationship. Then you ask the big question and then you dive into it. What are your intentions with me? What are your intentions with me? And then pay attention to the actions that come. You know? Like, I've dealt with women who just wanted to have kids, just wanted a family. I've had one woman actually tell me, she said, it really doesn't matter who the man is, but that's what I want. Those were her intentions. And I had to listen to that, because that let me know if the opportunity presented herself for her to get exactly what she wanted at that moment, she would take it. No matter what would happen to the other person that she's involved with, she would take that for her own benefit. So you got to pay attention to the person's actions. I mean, the person's intentions for a relationship with you. Ask them what their intentions are. You know, because then this now dives deeper into if they know you or not. You feel what I'm saying? If they've been paying attention to you, if they have been connecting to you as they should have. You feel me? Because if I truly know you and I set intentions for a relationship with you and you're naturally not doing that shit, I'm just setting a goal. I'm just setting a goal, and anybody can complete that. But when you're the only, when I set my intention for a relationship with a specific person, they're the only person that can fulfill that intention. You feel me? Because I know them. I know what they're bringing to this table. I know what they're bringing to the situation. And I know what I'm bringing to the situation. I know how it's going to work together. Because this is what the fuck I'm gonna do. You feel me? This is what I'm going to do. So when I know what you're going to do, I see how we're going to do it together. I don't give a fuck about what you want to do. It's what you're doing. You feel me? It's what you're doing. If every day you say you want to achieve this, this, and this, and every day I see you working towards it, I can fucks with you. If every day you're saying, I want to do this, but every day you're afraid of it, or you're not doing it, or you're finding an excuse as to why you can't do it, I know what your intentions are. Your intentions aren't to achieve that goal. Your intentions are just to have it. You feel me? So, look at your relationships from this point forward, just like that. You know, when you meet this motherfucker or motherfuctress, when you meet them and you know y'all are exploring each other, find those 3 modalities out. What are their intentions for themselves? Because the relationship might be able to stop once you figure out what their intentions for themselves are. Because some people just, I don't know, I'm still figuring life out. By the time you get to a point where they're able to have intentional relationships, this is why, all right, this is why women be like, well, it takes men like 3 to 4, 5, 10 years to get married. His intention wasn't there. And you can't force that. See, you're trying to be patient with some shit that was never going to happen. We do the shit too. Man, we do it too. Like, you're trying to be patient with some shit that's never going to happen. He didn't even have intentions for himself. Any intentions for his own life. And you believe that he was going to have intentions for a relationship. A relationship with longevity. You know? This is like kind of that quintessential piece of where they say, why buy the cow when you get the milk free? Or some shit like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But this is why it's like, if my intention were to get X, Y, and Z and she's giving it to me, that's it. That's it. What more do I got to put work in for? I got what I came for. Because my intentions for myself, my intentions for a relationship, and my intentions for this relationship were all revealed. I showed you every piece of it. And you wanted more, and that's your fault. You know? You seen from my actions you seen from my intentional actions, the shit that just naturally happened that I was going to do. I ain't had no drive, no motivation, and no second thought about being in a relationship. You feel me? You seen from my intentions about being in a relationship that I wasn't stable in one. Every relationship that I had, it went sour. I fucked up and did something stupid. I probably cheated, or, you know, the women always cheated on me, or she just broke, like, something's wrong. Because that means that my intentions were in a different space. And then we never even had a chance to even discuss what my intentions were for a relationship with you. Because you didn't care. Because the goals were there. The goals fuck everybody up. Because like, oh, this is what I want to have. This is what I want. But what the fuck are you doing? You feel me? And with that same token, same breath, if you are actively doing this shit, if your intentions for yourself mean that you're doing this and you're doing it, if your intentions for a relationship mean that you do this and you do it, if your intentions for a relationship with a person are X, Y, and Z, and you're actively doing them and they're not reciprocating, you should leave. Ain't no waiting for that motherfucker to get right. Ain't no just have patience. No, leave. It is okay if they get hurt, if they get upset, if they get sad, if they get disappointed. So the fuck what? And I mean that with the utmost care and compassion. Because at the end of the day, if it really mattered to them, their intentions would align with yours and they would do what they say they were going to do. Simple. There's no, I have to wait for you to catch up. Just wait for me. I'm not there. No, sorry. When you seen me jogging on this path, I was already running at a certain pace. You seen me running at this pace. You seen me coasting. You seen me jogging. And then you decide, hey, I want to run with you. Okay, keep up. I'm not slowing down. I'm not stopping. This is the pace that I'm on. Well, I'm tired now. I'm getting a cramp. Ain't nobody tell you to come to the track. That's your fault. That's your fault. You're not ready for the relationship that you want to get into. That's not that person's fault. They have no obligation to slow down. They have no obligation to stop. So when you set that up, going forward, do this for yourself, do this for your life, do this for everything. Set the intention. Find the intention before you get involved with anything. This could be a job, this could be whatever. Find out what your intention is for yourself. After you know the intention for yourself, find out what the intention is for a relationship, a position in this thing. Like, find out what your intention is. You feel me? Because that's what you're gonna do. And then find out what your intention is for the relationship with that person, or whatever. Because that's what you're going to do with them. And then relationships could be so easy. I don't have to worry about you stepping out, cheating, or doing anything like that, because, like, I know what you're gonna do. I already know your intentions. You know? That's why I'm like, yeah, the goals are cool. They're gonna tell you their goals from the beginning. They're gonna tell you their goals. But it's on you to see through it. To see, okay, are you actively putting this work in? Do you crumble under pressure? Like, is what you want to do too hard for you? Pay attention to that. Because you two are not intentionally supposed to be together. And then if you decide to, get up in that point and now it's, I should have known. It's just always that bullshit. Like, I knew this was going to happen. Duh. You knew, but what'd you do about it? You knew, but what did you do about it? You seen the jab coming and you took the punch. You seen the jab coming. You had enough time to duck, enough time to weave, enough time to step back and throw a jab of your own, but you let yourself get hit. That's delusion. And that's denial of intention. That's denial of paying attention to intention and the denial of your own intuition. That's the refusal to accept your own intuition. And you gotta deal with that. You gotta deal with that. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are with that. So yeah, you got intentions, you got your goals, and you got your mind, like, and there's a split modality between them. Your intentions are what you're gonna do, and your goals are what you want to do. And when you can make those two coincide, then you'll live life accordingly to that. This is why this is why I'm big on setting intentions. This is why I'm big. I don't fuck with goals like that no more. I set the intentions, because if a person's intentions are based off their purpose and what things that they really want to manifest because of what they're going to do. I use relationships as the example behind it because it's so easy to understand from that perspective. That's why relationships don't be working. That's why relationships don't be working. That's why people be getting hurt, because they be trying to be oblivious to the intentions that they see in a person. They see a person's intentions. This is why when a relationship ends, we always know that this person was going to do this. I knew you was going to do this. I knew why. Well, why didn't you trust your own intuition? Because you could not see the difference between an intention and a goal. Like that bullshit. Like, I got into a argument. Well, I'm not gonna say argument. A debate with a woman where she said, well, I told her I don't do second chances, and she was like, "That's wrong. Everybody does." No, everybody don't deserve a motherfucking chance. Like, I don't know who told you that lie or why that's even a reality. Because my thing is this: if your intentions were pure, you wouldn't have fucked up the first time. But the fact that you did fuck up shows me where your intentions are. Why I got to give you a second chance for that? Why do I have to have a second chance to see what your intentions really are? You feel me? Because you did shit that you were gonna do. It'll be on me to allow you to do what you're gonna do again. Because I'm seeing where your intentions are. I'm seeing where your intentions are. I'm seeing what your intentions are and where they stem from. So going forward, look at life in that same capacity. Look at life in that same dynamic. Make sure everything you do is intentional. It's rooted from your intention. Best way to get things into your attention is to write them the fuck down. Write them down continually. Here's my nugget to making attention work. One, music. Music is one of the easiest ways to do it. This is why you got to be very particular in the songs that you listen to. Like, you got to be particular. Like, if as a man if as a man all you listen to is songs about fucking bitches getting money, even if you decide that you want a good woman, or you listen to music about blowing money on bitches, like, you're gonna attract gold diggers, because that's where your intention is set. You just rewired that into your mind. So pay attention to the music. Like, if women, y'all listening to y'all want to be on the hot girl summer list, cool. I'm not knocking that. That's what y'all do. Be free spirited and shit. Whatever. But be aware of what happens when your intentions start to exhibit that. You feel what I'm saying? So music is the first thing. Start listening to music that coincide with what things you're going to do in life. You feel me? Like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be, be in love, whatever the case, listen to music that coincides with what you want, and then that's what you're going to start, gravitating towards. And the second way, as I said, is writing stuff down every single day. Repetition. Write the same thing down over and over. This is how you do. After you write it down the first time, you make sure you get exactly how you want it. You write it down again the next day. You write it down again the next day. And you copy it. You write it down so much that you no longer need a copy to write it. You no longer need a copy to write it. You're just able to write whatever it is that's how you rewire it to your unconscious mind. Because now your hand, as it's writing, you don't have to see it anymore. Your hand, I mean, of course it's in your mind, and it's your hand. You're telling your hand, I'm not saying it's in the power's in your hand. Chill. But it's just, you're writing it out. You're writing it out because your unconscious mind is now giving the action out. You no longer have to think about it. Hey, I have to write this thing, and then you write down every single thing. And that's what it's all about. Like, that's how you get your intentions in there. And then, according to the theme of what we was talking about, set your relationships up just like that. When you meet that person, find out what their intentions are for themselves. Then find out what their intentions are for a relationship. Then find out what their intentions are for a relationship with you. This is why it's okay to be friends. You'll figure, if y'all was really on that level of truly trying to get to know somebody to be with them, the friend zone wouldn't be a problem, because the friend zone is where intentions are really revealed. So with that being said, we'll wrap it up here. This was the Just Scenes podcast. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram at _just_scene_. Follow the merchandise at Just Scenes Merch. And don't forget to follow my plant-based class at the Hitting It Raw program. You can reach me at one of those places. I hope, as always, you got some nuggets out of it. And until we meet again, peace, love, knowledge, and freedom.